Most men think trust begins with words. It doesn't. Trust begins the moment a woman stops protecting something she normally guards without even realizing it. As a psychologist who has spent years studying relationship dynamics and female behavior, there is something most men are never taught. Women rarely announce their trust directly. They don't walk up to a man and say, "I trust you now." Instead, their body slowly reveals it in subtle moments that almost every man overlooks. And one of the biggest signals happens when she allows you into a space most people never notice. You see, women grow up learning to protect themselves emotionally and physically. Every interaction, every conversation, every date carries a silent evaluation running in the background of her mind. Is this person safe? Is this person respectful? Is this person someone I can relax around? Because for a woman, relaxing is the real definition of trust. When a woman feels uncertain, her body becomes guarded. Her posture tightens. Her movements become careful. She controls distance, controls eye contact, controls how much of herself she reveals. But when that protection begins to soften, something very different appears. One of the first things a woman gives access to when she truly trusts a man is her personal space. Not just physical distance, but the invisible boundary every human has around them. Most men rush this moment, thinking confidence means pushing forward. But true confidence understands something deeper. Trust cannot be forced. It can only be invited. When a woman willingly lets you close that distance without hesitation, when she doesn't instinctively pull away or create space, something important has already happened in her mind. She has decided, often subconsciously, that you are not a threat to her comfort, and comfort is the foundation of attraction. Many men believe attraction is built through impressive words, clever lines, or constant attention. But from a psychological perspective, attraction often grows in silence, in calm moments where she feels safe enough to stop analyzing you, when she leans closer during a conversation instead of leaning away, when she lets your shoulder brush against hers without stiffening, when she doesn't immediately create distance when you stand near her. Those are not random moments. Those are small signals of permission. And permission matters because women rarely allow closeness unless their intuition approves of the man standing in front of them. Think about it this way. Every woman has experienced situations where someone invaded her space too quickly. Her instincts react immediately. She moves back, crosses her arms, angles her body away. These are automatic defense responses. But when those defenses are absent, something powerful has already taken place. Her mind has categorized you as safe, and safety is not boring the way many men assume. Safety is what allows a woman's curiosity to grow. It is what allows her guard to lower enough to actually see you. Ironically, the men who constantly try to prove themselves are often the ones who make women feel the least comfortable. Their energy feels forced, their behavior feels performative, and women instinctively sense the tension behind it. But the man who understands emotional presence does something different. He slows down. He pays attention to her reactions. He respects the invisible boundaries she sets without needing them explained. This creates a psychological effect many men never realize they are triggering. When a woman feels that her boundaries are naturally respected, she begins lowering them voluntarily. Not because she feels pressured, but because she feels understood. And understanding is one of the rarest emotional experiences people have today. That's when something subtle but powerful happens. Her body language softens, her voice becomes warmer. Her eye contact lasts a little longer. She becomes more present, more playful, more curious. Because the moment she realizes she doesn't need to protect herself around you, she can finally relax enough to explore connection, and that moment is the beginning of real trust. But what most men never realize is that there is one very specific thing women unconsciously protect more than almost anything else. And when she finally allows you access to that, it reveals far more about her trust than words ever could. Most men completely miss it. But once you understand what it means, you'll never look at human connection the same way again. There is a moment in every developing connection where a woman stops performing and starts revealing who she actually is. Most men never notice when this shift happens because they are too busy trying to impress. In the early stages of attraction, both people present a controlled version of themselves. Conversations are careful. Reactions are measured. Humor is slightly filtered. Everyone is trying to appear interesting, confident, attractive. But beneath that surface, something else is happening inside a woman's mind. She is constantly asking herself a silent question. Can I be myself around this man? Not the polished version, not the charming version, the real version, the version that laughs too loudly sometimes, the version that gets quiet when something is on her mind, the version that doesn't always feel perfectly put together. And when a woman finally feels safe enough to stop managing her image around you, something incredibly important happens. She allows you to see her vulnerability. This doesn't always look dramatic. In fact, most of the time it appears in very small ways. She might share a story that reveals an insecurity she usually hides. She might speak about a past experience that shaped her. She might admit something she's unsure about or laugh at herself without trying to correct it. These moments are extremely significant psychologically because vulnerability is one of the clearest indicators of trust. A woman does not reveal her unfiltered self around someone she doesn't feel emotionally safe with. If she senses judgment, pressure, or ego from a man, her instinct is to protect herself. But when she begins allowing you to see her imperfections without rushing to cover them up, she is doing something powerful. She is letting you touch her emotional world, and emotional access is far deeper than physical access. This is where many men make a critical mistake. The moment they see vulnerability, they try to take control of it. They interrupt, offer solutions, or shift the conversation back to themselves. But what women are actually seeking in those moments is not a solution. They are observing your reaction. Do you listen calmly? Do you stay present without turning the moment into advice? Do you respect what she shared without using it to judge her? These responses determine whether trust grows or disappears. Because when a woman shares something personal, she is essentially handing you a small piece of her inner world. If you handle it with care, she will feel safe sharing more. But if she senses even a small amount of criticism or dismissal, she quietly rebuilds her walls. This is why emotional intelligence is so powerful in relationships. A man who understands how to hold space for someone's vulnerability creates a rare emotional environment, one where a woman doesn't feel evaluated but understood. And understanding creates closeness faster than attraction ever could. Interestingly, when a woman feels this kind of emotional safety, her natural affection begins to appear in ways most men find surprising. Her tone becomes softer. Her body language becomes more open. She begins initiating conversations or playful interactions she didn't before, because trust transforms the dynamic. When she feels emotionally safe, she stops analyzing whether you are someone she should keep at a distance. Instead, she begins exploring whether you are someone she wants closer. And this shift is extremely powerful. But there is one particular moment that psychologists often observe in developing relationships, a moment that reveals something deeper than comfort, deeper than attraction. It is when a woman allows a man to interact with something most people protect instinctively, something connected to identity, emotion, and personal space. When she allows that barrier to lower, it means her mind has already made an important decision about you, a decision many men never even realize has been made. And when you understand what that signal truly means, you begin to see trust forming in ways that most people overlook completely. One of the most powerful signals of trust appears in a place most men rarely think about: her natural presence. Not the curated version she shows the world, not the carefully presented version she shows acquaintances, her real, unguarded presence. Women live in a world where they are constantly aware of how they are perceived. Appearance, behavior, tone, body language, these things are monitored more than most men realize. Society trains women early to manage how they present themselves. Because of that, many women carry an invisible pressure to appear composed, attractive, and emotionally balanced. But when a woman truly trusts someone, something interesting begins to happen. She stops performing. She becomes comfortable being seen exactly as she is in that moment. She may sit closer without adjusting herself constantly. She may laugh freely without worrying about how it sounds. She may relax her posture, lean into conversations, and allow the natural rhythm of her personality to appear. This is not carelessness. This is psychological safety. When someone feels deeply safe, their nervous system relaxes. Their body literally shifts from alertness to comfort. And this is where something very telling occurs. She begins allowing you access to the quiet moments of her personality. Moments where she is not trying to impress you, moments where she may look tired, thoughtful, playful, or even slightly messy emotionally. These are the moments many people hide from strangers, but trust removes the need for hiding. Think about the environments where people act most like themselves: home, close friendships, family gatherings where there is no need to pretend. When a woman begins bringing that same relaxed energy into your presence, she is subconsciously treating you as part of her safe environment, and that is incredibly meaningful. Because people rarely invite others into that level of comfort unless their instincts have already approved of them. This is why forcing attraction rarely works long term. Real connection is built through emotional safety, not pressure. When a man is calm, attentive, and respectful of a woman's pace, he creates something rare in modern dating: predictability. Not boring predictability, but emotional steadiness. Humans are naturally drawn toward people who feel emotionally stable. It signals reliability. It signals maturity. It signals safety. And safety is what allows curiosity and attraction to grow naturally. When she feels safe around you, something fascinating begins to happen psychologically. Her mind stops scanning for red flags and starts looking for reasons to stay. Her attention shifts from caution to connection. She listens more closely. She asks more questions. She becomes more playful in conversation. And sometimes she begins initiating closeness herself. Not because she feels obligated, but because she wants to. But the most telling moment comes when she allows you into something deeply personal: her relaxed, unfiltered space. That might mean sitting close enough that personal distance disappears. It might mean sharing quiet moments without needing constant conversation. It might mean resting comfortably beside you without tension. These moments reveal something words never could. Her mind has accepted your presence as safe. And when that acceptance happens, attraction has a strong foundation to grow. But there is one final truth most men never hear. Trust is not something a woman gives once. It is something she continuously confirms through your behavior. Every reaction you have either strengthens that trust or weakens it, which is why the most attractive men are not the ones trying to prove their value every second. They are the ones who understand how to protect the trust they have already been given. Because once a woman feels emotionally safe around a man, something powerful begins to develop inside her. Something that transforms curiosity into attachment. And very few men understand how easily that process can be either nurtured or completely destroyed. Here is the truth most men never hear about trust. It is fragile, not weak, but delicate. Trust grows slowly, often through dozens of small moments that seem insignificant on the surface: a respectful reaction, a patient response, a calm presence when emotions appear. Each moment quietly adds weight to the scale of connection. But the reason many relationships fail is because men misunderstand what women are actually observing. They believe women are constantly judging appearance, success, or status. But psychologically, women are far more attentive to emotional patterns. How does this man react when something unexpected happens? Does he become defensive, dismissive, or impatient? Or does he remain grounded and respectful? Because emotional stability is one of the strongest predictors of long-term attraction. A woman may feel initial chemistry with many people, but sustained attraction usually forms around someone whose presence feels emotionally secure, someone whose behavior is consistent, someone who does not pressure her boundaries, someone who does not punish vulnerability. When a woman shares a personal thought, reveals a fear, or allows herself to relax around you, she is observing something very carefully: your reaction. Do you respect the moment, or do you misuse it? This is why trust is built through restraint. Restraint shows emotional maturity. It shows that you are not controlled by impulse. It shows that you understand the difference between connection and control. And women notice this far more than most men realize. A man who respects emotional space creates an environment where trust can deepen naturally. And when that trust deepens, affection begins to grow without being forced, because people naturally gravitate toward environments where they feel emotionally safe. Now, here is something fascinating from years of observing relationship behavior. The strongest connections often begin in very quiet ways, not dramatic passion, not overwhelming excitement, but calm curiosity. Two people slowly realizing they can be themselves around each other, that they don't need to perform, that they don't need to protect every small detail of their personality, that they can relax. And when relaxation appears, connection becomes possible. So if there is one thing to remember, it is this: trust is not built by trying to impress a woman. Trust is built by becoming the kind of presence she can relax around. Calm, respectful, emotionally steady. Because when a woman feels that kind of safety with a man, she begins revealing parts of herself most people never get to see. And those moments are the real beginning of meaningful connection. Now, I want to ask you something personal. Think back to a moment when someone trusted you with something important. Maybe it was a personal story, a vulnerability, or simply their quiet presence. How did you respond? Did you protect that trust, or did you take it for granted? Write your answer in the comments. I read them carefully, and your experience might help someone else understand this topic better. If this perspective opened your eyes to something new about relationships and human psychology, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this message. Because understanding trust may be one of the most powerful relationship skills a person can ever learn.